Now, Antonov has many different facilities in and around Kyiv. The Hostomel Antonov airport has been destroyed. It's been taken over by Russians. Today, the Kyiv administration said people have been killed in this attack on the Antonov cereal production plant. India Today's Rajesh Pawar, a former Special Forces officer, sent us a report from outside one of the Antonov plants in Kyiv. Take a look.
Right now, I'm standing in front of Antonov aircraft manufacturing factory in Kyiv, which is about 12 kilometers away from the city. It was reported today by various media houses that there has been a missile attack on Antonov aircraft factory. But after inspecting the whole area here, I did not find any signs of a missile or a rocket attack on this factory. This factory is very well known because Antonov has manufactured the biggest aircraft ever made, Maria, which was destroyed recently at Hostomel by the Russian forces. And Indian Air Force also uses AN-32 aircraft, which is manufactured by Antonov. As of now, I don't see any signs of any missile or bomb or rocket attack on this factory. If it is on an ancillary plant somewhere else, I cannot verify this. But here, the main factory in the Kyiv city, which is about 10 kilometers away, there are no signs of a missile or a rocket or an aircraft attack on this factory. This is Rajesh Pawar for India Today from Antonov aircraft factory in Kyiv.
I want to go across to India Today's Rajesh Pawar and Gaurav Sawant, both reporting from Kyiv at this time. Gaurav, quickly coming to you first. What has been many days of encirclement, of attempts to besiege the city. Both you and Rajesh have been reporting on the damage done on the outskirts of Kyiv in places like, Brovary and Bucha, as well as Irpin. The images that have come in today, some of them released by the, Kyiv administration, suggest that the attacks are happening inside the city. Can you confirm that for us, Gaurav?
Shiv, when we were at the Vauxhall, which is the central railway station, there were multiple blasts that were reported and not very far from where we were. The situation is extremely grim. Air raid sirens repeatedly went off in the heart of the city. So yes, there are multiple blasts that have been reported not very far from Vauxhall, and you could hear them. You could hear them, and you could hear security personnel tell people move to safer areas. The Kyiv administration also talking about the targeting of the Antonov base. As Rajesh was also reporting, the AN-32 aircraft are the backbone of the Indian Air Force for Siachen operations and for multiple high-altitude operations. And these aircraft were specifically built by Antonov for Indian Air Force. We wanted a very powerful short lift and a short runway takeoff aircraft, which is what these aircraft were, the backbone of IAF for decades in Siachen, of course, until India acquired the C-130Js, Hercules for special forces operations. But Shiv, the targeting is intense, and right now where we are seeing a number of people desperately try to leave Kyiv. If I show you some of these images, take a look at this train, where a large number of people are very keen to get out of Kyiv before that big attack begins. Why is this happening, Shiv? Yesterday from Bucha, from Irpin, and from multiple other locations, including Brovary, Oleksiy Kuleba, the governor of the Kyiv region, he ordered emergency evacuation of people to safer areas. And on day 19 of this Russia-Ukraine conflict, there are multiple reports, Shiv, of air raid sirens going across 19 of 24 regions in Ukraine. So this is an indicator, perhaps, of the intensification of Russian operations, even as talks, are afoot to find a peacefully negotiated solution. Whether that happens or not, at least the people we've been speaking to, as you can look around, they are trying to get out of harm's way, Shiv.
So people trying to get out of Kyiv, there appears to be an escalation, that has taken place. The images coming in suggest that there is an escalation that has taken place, even though things appear calm at the moment. Rajesh, what's your update from Kyiv? That image of that, of what was believed to be an Antonov facility that was bombed may not be the main one. It could be an ancillary hub of some kind. What are you hearing? What was this big attack all about, Rajesh?
Look, Shiv, any information now coming through any international media house, through any kind of media, is essentially coming from Ukrainian sources. There's a total blackout on any kind of information or any kind of things coming out from Russia or Russian media.
Yeah.
So we need to take every piece of information with a lot of caution, and that is the reason I want to verify everything before I confirm it to you or I put it on media on our channel.
Yep.
So I got this information from various sources today that Antonov facility in Kyiv has been hit last night by the missiles. This is the only big facility here in Kyiv city. The ancillary units are probably in other cities, but not around Kyiv. And no such damage I saw with my own eyes. I went around the factory. I filmed this. And I request you, please, when I put these reports, there should be no guest from Kyiv or Ukraine on your show, because that puts me in danger here. I went around the factory. There was no damage of any kind. Not even the window panes are intact.
Yeah.
You know, when the blast takes place, first thing which will shatter are the window panes. Even they were intact. So there was no damage to even the window panes there. So I can verify it. There have been no blast over there. About rest of city, near Vokzalna, the main train station also, there has been no damage. I went around the area now. There was no damage. There is a report of Oblon, an area in Kyiv where missiles fell last night. I'm going to Oblon right now to verify it, and I'll send that report soon. Shiv.
Okay, and Rajesh, about the situation around Kyiv at this point of time, can you Rajesh first update us? Then I'll get to Gaurav. What is the situation as far as the Russian presence outside and around Kyiv? What is the update on on that? Are they moving in? Are they moving closer? They've been hitting the satellite towns very hard.
Look, Shiv, you need to okay. Go. We just crossed a military checkpoint, and generally they stop us.
Yeah.
Fortunately, they did not. Look, as far as Russian presence around Kyiv is concerned, north, northeast, northwest, they have huge amount of forces there. Northeast is primarily armored. Tanks and APCs, not much of infantry. Whereas on the northwest, which is towards Irpin, Bucha, Gostomel, there is all kind of forces. Artillery, armored, mechanized columns, infantry, everything is there on the northwest. Northeast, only armored as far as what I've seen after going through those areas, trying to talk to people, the military here. So that is the presence you have in north, northeast and northwest. We also had reports that the big column had broken into 4 different smaller columns and gone around the city and circling it. There is no evidence of that as of now, neither through satellite nor by physical on-ground reports from the people. So it's difficult to say how far are Russians on the other directions, but what is confirmed till today is north, northeast and northwest. They are within striking distance of Kyiv city, not more than 20 kilometers in all 3 directions.
Okay,
Shiv.
north, northeast and northwest, 20 kilometers encirclement has taken place from 3 directions. Gaurav also reports, from today about the first significant attacks in the western part of Ukraine. Can you throw any light on that? What are you hearing?
Shiv, the information that was shared by the Ukrainian government was that a military facility was targeted in the west, in Lviv. And this is where Ukrainian government claims that 35 of their service personnel were killed in action in this missile strike. They've denied the Russian charge that there were 180 mercenaries who were there in that area. Now, Russia had claimed that a large number of foreign mercenaries were in the area and they were undergoing training before being dispatched to various battle areas here in Ukraine, and that is why those areas were targeted. But Shiv, the fact that the west is being targeted, Lviv is being targeted, or Ivano-Franko area has been targeted, is an indication. As the mayor of Bela Sirkov told me, Henady Deyaki, he told me that there is no area across Ukraine, no city, no village, no area is safe from Russian missile and rocket strikes. So that is an indication that there is an apprehension of intensification in operation. But he's saying on.
Okay, with that link is frozen with Gaurav because he's on the move also from Kyiv. So Gaurav, continue if you can hear me.
Shiv, I can. So, he was saying from the south side, the Ukrainians are well and truly in control. And the Russians are nowhere close to Kyiv from the south side. And we traveled almost 80 kilometers south of Kyiv, went to Bela Sirkov and beyond.
Yes.
While there was Russian, missile damage there, rocket damage there, but no troops on ground, at least here. But the indication is that an amphibious assault from the south and the blockading of the Black Sea through the Russian, Black Sea fleet would be a huge challenge for Ukraine in the days and weeks ahead, Shiv.
Okay, stay safe to both of you, Rajesh and Gaurav. Thank you very much for joining me on this latest update on day 19 of the operations there. Now, President Zelenskyy of Ukraine, in the latest images of him, he went out, he met with soldiers. He announced bravery medals for some of them. He's a man who has gone from being a stand-up comedian to a media mogul, a very successful businessman, to now leading his nation, looked upon by many sections of the world as a wartime president and hero. Zelenskyy has become a global icon. He has refused to bow down in front of mighty Russia and has vowed to fight back. On Sunday, Zelenskyy, like you can see in those images, visited a military hospital to meet wounded soldiers. He's also issued a fresh warning to the West. He says, Putin wants Ukraine now, and after that, he's coming for NATO. Take a look.
He knows he's Putin's target number one. He knows his country can't match up to Russia's overwhelming military might. But Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy remains an image of valor, of defiance and fighting spirit, steadfastly refusing to turn his back on his bruised, battered and bleeding Ukraine. Zelenskyy visited wounded Ukrainian soldiers in a hospital and was seen interacting with the heroes of this war.
Чим можемо допомогти?
Представляешь, салал отлично.
Да.
Заботится.
In an open dare to Putin's army, Zelenskyy released a video giving out his exact location, saying he stays right there in Kyiv and not in hiding, showing the images from the lane outside his residence in this video message.
Вечірній Київ. Понеділок, вечір. Ви знаєте, ми звикли говорити понеділок день важкий.
Every time the Russians claim that Zelenskyy has fled the country fearing for his life, Zelenskyy has released a new video shattering the Russian claims and never mincing his words while slamming NATO for letting down Ukraine and the United States for rejecting a no-fly zone.
У минулому році я чітко попереджав лідерів НАТО, якщо не буде жорстких превентивних санкцій проти Російської Федерації, вона піде війною. Ми були праві. Я повторюю знову, якщо ви не закриєте наше небо, то це лише питання часу, коли російські ракети впадуть вже на ваше.
Even donning the combat fatigue, helmet and joining the Ukrainian troops in the front line.
Президент тут. Всі ми тут. Наші військові тут. Громадяни суспільства тут. Всі ми тут. Захищаємо нашу незалежність, нашу державу. Так?
Taking a cue from their brave president, thousands of Ukrainians have sent their families away to safety and stayed back to fight alongside President Zelenskyy. Supporting Zelenskyy in every step is the First Lady of Ukraine, Olena Zelenska. A vocal advocate of social causes, Olena through social media has continued to inspire and continue to provide comfort to Ukrainians. The big question remains how long the president and all his loyal men withstand the might of approaching Russian invasion army. Bureau Report, India Today.
And India Today's Nabila Jamal had this conversation with a Ukrainian civilian who ran away, escaped from Kharkiv, one of the most attacked cities, and took shelter in Kremenchuk with his little toddler and family. Kremenchuk is less affected by the war. Listen into this conversation. Another human voice who escaped from a bombed city for the sake of their children. Don't miss this.
What does it really mean for you, Alexei, from leaving Kharkiv, a place that you have grown, your child has? Where is your son? Can we see him, please? You had to literally uproot them, bring them to another city altogether, only to escape the kind of war, the targeting that's taking place in Kharkiv. such a beautiful child. I really feel sorry that you had to go through all of this. You know, how does it really feel to be torn apart from your motherland?
Yeah, first I want to say that this is a girl, Kira.
He's so
and,
lovely.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's really emotional. I can compare that when you see how another country destroys your city. It's like your memories box from your childhood, where you had a lot of different items that brings you some memories. And the same works for your city, for everybody in the world. When somebody destroys your city, destroys some buildings, destroys some places that bring you some memories, it's painful. It's painful. My wife cried, and first few days she was continuously asking why they are doing that, why they're doing that with us, why they're destroying my city. And I had no answer for that question, because even Nazi Germany with Hitler, they didn't destroy cities like Putin does.
And you know, Alexei, it's always the innocent civilians who bear the brunt of these big decisions that eventually will be sorted. But that many people on ground are the ones who we call the real victims. Alexei, you are one of them. With your child, you were uprooted from your motherland. You're still in Ukraine, though, but you've moved from a city that you've grown up and you've known so well and close to your heart to another city altogether. Would you ever attempt, or do you have that in mind in the future, that you will want to go back to Kharkiv? Because we know Kharkiv is devastated. It's devastated.
Yeah, I can say you honestly that if we wouldn't have a kid, me and my wife, we don't want to leave Kharkiv. So we would stay in Kharkiv these days and volunteer, because we want to help our army to protect our city, our homeland, and our memories. We want to save it, and we want to come back as soon as possible. I personally already thought a few times that maybe I will leave my wife and my daughter here in central Ukraine, safer place, and I can get back to Kharkiv, so I would be able to help. But these days I see that I also can help my country by starting working, you know, and making economy, you know, starting rebuilding Ukrainian economy. You know,
that's so thoughtful of you,
business.
Alexei, that you've still, you know, out of fear, you've fled Kharkiv with your daughter. And I'm so glad that she's safe and you are safe, but you still want to stand for your country and work and rebuild, try and attempt to rebuild the economy, which is now completely shattered. And that's really great of you to have stood up for your country at the time of this need. You know, I really can't get over this visual of you and your daughter. She's such a lovely child. Can you give us an understanding of the kind of trauma that she may have gone through? You know, honestly speaking, she's really a small baby from what I see, and the kind of sounds, constant shelling, bombarding. Has she reacted to any of that?
She was scared because of aviation. When a military aircraft flies over your house on a low height, this noise, this sound, you can't go to mommy. You just literally can't compare it with any.